So this session will be on Rubric as a tool that we can use for evaluation of the students. Most of the time, the way we are evaluating the student, I mean, most of you, you are engaged in evaluating the students, and the type of the conventional method of assessing the student, that is by asking them to appear for mm, some examination, some written paper, or maybe you are asking them there's a paper at the end of the semester, and during the semester also there are one or two written papers are there. And at other times you ask the students to appear for certain quiz. So that is another way. The other methods are asking the students to make certain presentation, or there is a quiz. You can test them. So these are the various methods by which you evaluate the students. Is it all right? Is there any method? Is there any other method which you are using for evaluating the student? These are the main methods: written examination, quiz, and presentations. So these are the methods. In this session, I will be focusing on a very comprehensive tool that is called Rubric. So going to be very interesting session, and just to try to learn what is the meaning of Rubric, and what are different types of rubrics, what are its features, and how to draw this rubric, how to prepare this rubric. So these are the things that you can learn from this session. So what is a rubric? First of all, so a rubric is a scoring tool, and it lists the criteria for a piece of work. See, we assess anything based on certain parameters, based on certain criteria. So here also, rubric is a tool which actually, while you are assessing anything, assessing the student's performance, or some other performance also. So that this rubric is at the same time listing the criteria, that this is the criteria on which I am assessing the performance. So it is a criteria based assessment, and the tool. So rubric is basically a scoring tool, and the main criteria, the main parameter which it uses is the criteria. Okay, that is also listed down in the tool. Okay, then we also say that rubric is a scoring scale which is used to assess the student's performance along a task-specific set of criteria. So we use a set of criteria, and these criteria are task-based. They are task-specific. Okay. So what I am trying to say here is that rubric is a scoring tool which uses a certain criteria, and that criteria is task-based. So this is what you need to understand. And it's a very very powerful communication tool. And the students who are getting assessed, they can actually see, they can really observe that where they are performing well, and what are the areas in which they are lacking. I mean, we are actually, when we are assessing the student by making use of rubric, we are communicating to them in concrete terms that okay, there you are good, there you need to improve. And use of rubric, it is a means to clarify our vision of excellence, and it provides a rational. And rubric is also providing a logic that why you are getting a grade. See, what happens is, in our conventional assessment, say, let me take an example. See, if the way we are assessing the student, suppose a student appears for an examination, he gets 70 marks out of 100. Okay. Now we give that student 70 marks out of 100. But now the student, but we are not telling the student where the student is weak. I mean, if a subject has got 4 to 5 units, the student knows that he has got 70. Overall, he has got 70 out of 100. But what are the areas in that subject area related to that subject which he or she is learning? What are the areas where some improvement is needed? What are the areas where that student is strong? So that detailed feedback we are not providing to the student. Only we are saying you have got 70 out of 100. But my friends, here, if you are using a rubric, we are giving grades to the student, and there is a logic why you have got this grade. What are the areas where there is scope for improvement? What are the areas where you are performing exceedingly well? Okay. What are the other areas where your performance is poor? So that details are given if we are making use of rubric. Whereas in the conventional method, no such feedback is being provided. So that is the advantage of having a rubric, that it communicates in concrete terms what are the parameters on which we are assessing, and what is the logic for assigning a particular grade to the student, so that it is clearly communicating. Okay, now this is very, very important. This slide is very important. See, there are, when I'm preparing a rubric, okay, rubric will be in terms of a matrix. Okay, you'll be able to see it. There are three components of a rubric. One, I call it as dimension. Okay. You can also call it as a criteria, because some time back I just told you that a rubric uses certain criteria. So we can also call it as trait, attribute. But let us stick to one term. I say dimension. Okay, dimension or even criteria. Okay, so this is one component. What is the criteria on which you want to assess the student? Okay, so let us take one example so that you are clear what is the criteria, dimension, or what is the criteria. See, for every subject area, you can have certain dimensions on which you will be assessing the student. Okay, for example, let us take the subject of English and communication skill. This is a common subject which is being taught at degree level, diploma level, most probably in the first year. Now, my friends, if we want to assess the performance of the students in the area of communication skill, see what can be the parameters, what can be the dimensions or criteria. Some dimensions can we identify that if so this will be the criteria on which we will be assessing the student. Maybe speaking is one criteria. If the student is able to speak effectively in that language, so that is one parameter, speaking. So speaking is effective, we'll say, okay, you are performing well. What can be the other criteria in the area of communication skill? One is speaking. The other one is listening. Listening can be another criteria, dimension, criteria. So speaking, listening, reading can be another criteria, reading, and writing can be another criteria. So it is up to you. You have to decide that this is the subject I'm going to talk, I'm going to teach, and this is the syllabus. So that is that syllabus is already there, and from that syllabus you find out that, okay, these are the 3 or 4 criteria, these are the 3 or 4 dimensions on which I am going to assess the performance of the student. For example, just I told you that if the subject is communication skill, so let us have a 4 parameter: reading, writing, speaking, listening. Okay, so identify those dimensions on which you are going to assess the student. Dimensions, or criteria. Okay, this is number one. And my friends, I mean, if you are teaching a subject, you want to assess the student, you make your own rubric. There is no standard rubric. You draw your own rubric. So it is up to you as a teacher, whatever criteria you want to use, you identify those 4 to 5 criteria, and you prepare your own rubric. Okay, number 2, descriptor. I will use the second component is descriptor. Okay. I will show all these things, all these components will be visible to you on a matrix also. But for the timing, just try to understand what is a descriptor. I gave you the example of one subject, the communication skill. We identified different dimensions or criteria: reading, writing, speaking, listening. Okay. Now here, I am trying to specify in detail. I am trying to clarify the meaning of each dimension. Okay. So here I am giving the details that, okay, you are excellent in speaking if you are at this level. You are very good in speaking if you are at this level. You are good in English. You are good in speaking if you are at this level. If you can do this thing, you are at good level. If you are able to do these things, then you are excellent. So I am giving the description of every criteria under the term descriptor. Is it clear? Descriptor is clear. Specifying the meaning, specifying the meaning of each criteria, specifying the meaning of each dimension, that is descriptor. Okay, it will be more clear when you see the next slide. Okay, the third thing is numerical. The third thing is called scale. Scale. You have a scale. Okay. Now scale can be numerical or qualitative or a combination. Okay, so just let us have a example. Numerical, either you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 means you are the best. Okay, you are excellent. That is 1. And 5 means you need to improve. So, and otherwise you can have otherwise also excellent, very good, good, need to improve, poor. So this is the scale. If if a student is performing at a particular level, the student can be graded as poor. If the student is performing at some other level, the student can be graded as very good. So that is the scale. So what I'm saying, my friend, the scale, you can have 2 types of scale: numerical or qualitative. Numerical can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and qualitative, just for example, I'm saying excellent, very good, good, poor. So that can be the scale. So, and another component that is being used is the weightage given to the criteria. As I told you, for example, I was just talking about the subject of communication skill, and I said that there are we identified 4 criteria: reading, writing, speaking, listening. So these 4 criteria, would you like to give them equal weightage, 25%, 25, 25, 25, or you think that speaking needs more weightage? Now, maybe you think that speaking needs around 40% weightage, and reading maybe around 25%, and listening maybe only 10%. So that depends. What do you want? So if you have selected the criteria, but if you think that they are not of equal weightage, then you give separate weightage to these criteria. So that is optional. But otherwise, the main components of a rubric are only 3. That is criteria and descriptor and scale. So these are the 3 criteria. Now just let me show you how a rubric looks like and how these 3 components fit into that rubric. So that you would like to see. Okay, this is how the rubric looks like. Okay, simple a matrix matrix, and where see format for a rubric. So first of all, you will write down task description. What you are going to assess. Maybe you are going to assess the student in the subject of, as I told you, communication skill. If you are teaching C language, so your task is to assess the performance of the student in the subject of C language. If you are guiding the student in some project work, so then your task is to assess the students in the area of project work. Okay. Even you can assess the student on one particular topic also. Maybe some group of students, they are making a presentation, and you want to assess their performance. So your task is to assess the performance of student in presentation. Okay, just one. Okay, so either you can assess the performance on a complete subject, or in a topic, or on one session, or simple one performance, maybe simple presentation. The students are making a presentation of 20 minutes, and you can assess the performance by using a rubric. Is it all right? Sometimes it is also possible the students are performing an experiment. So you can also assess the performance if they are performing an experiment. What is their performance? What is their skill? So anything that you can use. So task description, you write down what you want to assess, whether it is some subject which you want to assess, whether it is a certain topic, whether it is certain session, whether it is the skills you want to assess. So you write down under task. Okay. I talked about the dimension. I talked about the 4 dimensions. So dimension 1, dimension 2, dimension 3. So for example, if you want to assess the performance of the student in the subject area of communication skill, so here dimension 1, you will write speaking. Dimension 2, you will write, you will say listening, reading, writing. So in the first column, my friends, in the first column, here you are writing the dimension or the criteria. Here you are writing the dimension or the criteria in the first column here. Is it all right? Okay. Then the scale, you are writing the scale here. The first row, scale level 1, scale level 2, scale level 3 here. So here either you write 1, 2, 3, or you write excellent, very good, good. Is it all right? Is it clear? Scale level 1, scale level 2, scale level 3. Here you are writing the scale. You are talking about the scale. And here, my friends, here, this area of the matrix, you are giving the dimension. You are writing the detail that I will give excellent in the area of speaking if the student is able to do this thing. So I am writing the detail here. I will give very good grade in the area of speaking if the student is able to do this thing. That description I am writing here. I will give good in the area of listening if the student is able to do this thing, and this thing, this description I am writing here. So description has to be given in detail. Okay, that description you write in detail what you expect from the student. And so my friends, so in this way you create that rubric by writing the dimensions, by writing the scale, and by writing the description of the dimensions. Okay, okay, then we come to the next part. See, I just want to show you certain scales. Okay, otherwise most of the time the only scale that comes to our mind is excellent, very good, good. But you can have, there are so many scales which you have. Okay, so I'm showing you one scale. Okay, one type of qualitative scale is that you are not yet developing, achieving. Okay, so this is one type of scale that you are not up to the desired level, not yet, not yet up to the desired level, and you are still some level higher than that is developing. You are still developing, and then the third level is achieving. That you are achieving that desired level. So one of the scale can be not yet, developing, and achieving. Okay, so that can be one type of scale. Another scale you can use is, so these are all qualitative scales. Okay, so another scale is emerging, developing, achieving. Okay, so what is the difference between the two scales? In the first scale I said not yet, developing, achieving, whereas in the second scale I'm saying emerging, developing, and achieving. So see, in the first scale, although both the scales appear to be same, see here I'm using the word not yet. So it is a sort of if I tell a student that you are not yet at the desired level, so that feedback seems to be slightly negative, because we are saying not yet. But instead of that, if I say you are emerging, okay, you have not developed, you have not achieved, but you are still emerging. But emerging is still, we can call it as a positive feedback. Okay, so that is why the second scale it looks more appealing: emerging, developing, and achieving. Another scale, my friend, that you can use is, this is the 4-point scale: novice, apprentice, proficient, distinguished. Okay, novice, apprentice, proficient, distinguished. So this is the way you can create your own scale, but I'm just giving you certain example which you can make use of this one, and you can have your own rubric. You can have your own scale. It can be, that scale can be at a 3-point, 5-point, 4-point. So that depends. That depends on you. That depends on the teacher. Okay, another scale I'm showing here is no evidence, minimal evidence, partial evidence, complete evidence. Okay, so no evidence. That means no proof that you have become proficient in speaking. No proof that you can. No proof that the student can read effectively. No proof that the student can listen effectively. So no evidence. And then you say minimal evidence, only limited evidence that you can speak properly, you can write properly. Partial evidence and complete evidence means, okay, full, that I have got all the proof I have got that you can speak properly, you can speak effectively. So that can be another scale. And one more scale can be exemplary, acceptable, unacceptable. Exemplary, acceptable, unacceptable. Exemplary means that is the top level. Acceptable, middle level, and unacceptable. That means your performance is poor. Is that all right? Okay. Then, my friends, you can also have, if you do not want to use, if you do not want to have this qualitative scale, you can have quantitative scale also. And quantitative scale, either you say one, going from 1 to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One maybe that student is at the top level, and number 5 means the student can be at the bottom level. It can be otherwise also. Number 5 can mean the student is at the top level, and number 1 may mean that the student is at the bottom level. So that you have to specify that 1 is at the top level or at the bottom level. You can also have this scale from 1 to 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 is at the top level and 3 is at the bottom level. And otherwise also 3 to 1, 3 at the top and 1 at the bottom. So my friends, what I wanted to say here was that we need, when I'm preparing a rubric, when I'm constructing a rubric, we need to make use of scale. The scale can be of two types. Either it can be qualitative. So qualitative, you are specifying what I have showed here, and you can have your own words also. And then it can be quantitative also. And here you are saying either 1 to 5, 5 to 1, 1 to 3, 3 to 1, any scale you can use. Okay. So there are two types of rubrics. One type of rubric is called analytical, and the other type of rubric is called holistic. Analytical, holistic. Okay, I would like to tell you what is analytic rubric. See, the rubric which I showed you, that was analytical rubric. It is telling you the level of performance for each criteria. Okay, so just let me show you that again. So this was the rubric. So it is telling you the performance of every dimension of every criteria. Dimension 1, it is telling you the dimension 1. What is the level of the student, if it is at level 1, or the student is at level 2 or at level 3. Similarly, dimension 2 also, what is the level of the student. Dimension 3, what is the level of the student. So it is telling the performance of the student for every dimension. Okay, so that is, so this is, so this is analytical rubric. Okay, so it is describing the level for each criteria, for each dimension. So it is analytical rubric. Okay, so you are having a matrix, and you are writing down the criteria, you are writing down the dimensions, and for every criteria or dimension there is a level. Okay, and my friend, what is, okay, so this is how your analytical rubric looks. Suppose some student is doing research. Okay, you all the students are doing research at master level, at PhD level, or there is some research project. The students have taken up certain research project. They have written a paper. Okay, so suppose you want to assess the quality of the research paper that the student have written. Is it all right? Some research paper quality you want to assess. So what will be the criteria? Okay, I have written down 4 criteria. Okay, number of sources from which you have taken the information. Okay, so whenever you write a research paper, you collect a lot of information, you give a lot of references. So what are the number of resources you have taken? Is it 1 to 4? Number of resources 1 to 4, then the level is 1. If the number of resources are from 5 to 9, then the more the number of resources, the better is the performance of the student. 5 to 9, the level is 2. And if the number of sources are 10 to 12, then the level is 3. Okay, historical accuracy. When the student has written a paper, he is giving certain information, and whether that information is historically accurate or not. Lot of historical inaccuracy, the level is 1. Few inaccuracies, level 2. And no inaccuracy, no apparent inaccuracy, then the student is at level 3. So you see, my friend, the level 3 is the topmost level. Level 1 is the bottom level. Organization, how the student has organized the content in the research paper. Okay, so if the teacher cannot tell from where the information has come, so then the student is at level 1. Can tell with difficulty where the information came from, then the student is at level 2. And if anyone can tell easily that this is the source of information, that means you have organized the things properly. So you can easily see that this information you have taken from this paper. This particular line you have taken from this paper. So if you can easily identify, if you can easily tell by going through the paper, then the paper is properly organized. and this is one of the criteria. And then, my friend, bibliography is another criteria. If bibliography contains very little information, then the student is at level 1. Contains the most relevant information, level 2, and all the relevant information is is there in the bibliography, then at level 3. And as I told you, my friend, criteria. Now, see in this rubric, how many criteria are there? 4. 4 criteria are there: number of sources, historical accuracy, organization, and bibliography. On this 4 criteria, I am assessing the performance of the student. I am assessing the research paper. What is the quality of the research paper that has been written by a student? Now, these 4 criteria, if the weightage given to these 4 criteria, is it equal, 25, 25, 25, 25, then you need not write the second column. But if the weightage is different, if you think that historical accuracy is more important, so then maybe historical accuracy you want to give a 30% weightage. So then you have this second column weightage, and you can give different weightage to these 4 different criteria. Is it all right? So, my friend, analytical rubric. So this is the analytical rubric in which there is a performance level for every criteria that you have identified. So this is analytical rubric. So, my friend, this is very, very interesting, this area of preparing the rubric. And see, what is the advantage of this one? See, the main thing which I told you is, otherwise, when we are assessing the student, we are just giving them marks. Out of 100, you have got 60 marks. But if the student wants to know, sir, okay, I got 100, I got 60 out of 100, but what are the areas in which I am lacking, where I need to improve? So that information we are not providing. We are just telling them, you have got A grade, you have got B+, but what are the areas where there's the scope for improvement? Here, my friend, here in the rubric, the student can easily see where the student is performing well, and what are the areas where the score is not that good, and there's a need for improvement. Okay, so this was the analytical rubric. Then you come to the second type of rubric, holistic rubric. See, holistic rubric means that, see, there are multiple criteria are there in the analytical rubric. For every individual criteria, we had a performance level. That matrix was there. In holistic rubric, there is no matrix as such. There is a complete paragraph, and in that paragraph, it is written that for this dimension, the student was performing at this level. For this dimension, the student was performing at this level, and in totality, he is excellent. Okay, so in holistic whole evaluation. Okay, not separate evaluation. Not so it is in one paragraph, in maybe 4 to 5 lines. You are telling that in this area the student is performing at this level, in this area at this level, and that is why this is the grade which is being given to the student. So holistic, my friend, holistic rubric means that I assign a level. I give them a grade. I give them a performance level by assessing the performance across multiple criteria. Okay, so there's no separate listing of performance is not there. Totality mein, I am assessing the performance across the multiple criteria. Is it clear? Holistic rubric mein kya hai? In a paragraph form, in 3 to 4 lines, I am writing down what is your performance level. Okay, whereas my friend, in analytical rubric, I am preparing a matrix. For every criteria, for every dimension, there is a separate performance level. Okay, see here, see, this is the way I am preparing this holistic rubric. See, just one example. See, when when a student is an excellent researcher. So I will just write down. There is no separate table. There is no separate metrics. Only thing is what the teacher is saying, that in the research, 10 to 12 sources are included. There is no historical inaccuracy, and I can easily tell where the information came from. All the relevant information is included, and therefore the student is given, the student level is, performance level is 3, corresponding to level 3. Okay, so only thing is these 4 lines are being written, and corresponding to that, this performance level 3 is being given to the student. So that is the holistic rubric. Only thing is the way you are presenting. In analytical rubric, you are making a table, okay, metrics, whereas here it is in the form of bullets, or in the form of a paragraph. So that is the only difference. Okay. Maybe okay. So advantage of so what is the advantage for the professors, teachers, and for the students? So see, rubric, if you are going through this session for the first time, you have heard of rubric for the first time, then my friend, you will see that evaluation is very, very objective. Okay, the teacher knows, the student also knows, okay, why the student has got excellent grade, why the student has got poor or very good or good in a particular dimension. And this use of rubric helps the teacher to clarify the criteria. So criteria becomes very, very clear. Okay. As I told you, the example of communication skill, the subject of communication, the criteria is very, very clear to the student that these are the 4 criteria: reading, writing, speaking, listening. This is the criteria on which I will be assessed. Otherwise, most of the time the student actually do not know what is the criteria on which I am being assessed. But here, for every subject, whatever you are assessing, the criteria is very, very clear to the student. And you see, my friend, there are so many subject areas, the criteria is different. If I am assessing the skill, the criteria will be different. If I am assessing the knowledge, the criteria will be different. Okay, so here the advantage is that when I am making use of rubric, the criteria, there is a clarity that which criteria is being used. Provide useful feedback regarding effectiveness of instruction. So that is also a rubric. Use of rubric is helpful to the teacher because it provides feedback to the teacher whether the instruction delivery is effective or not, and it provides a benchmark against which to measure. Okay, so when I'm describing the performance level, I'm giving the details description. Okay, that this is what you need to achieve if you have to be really excellent. So it is providing a benchmark where you have to, which you really need to achieve. For student, rubric is also helpful for the students. It helps them to define the quality. It promotes, it creates awareness amongst the student as to what is the criteria. Okay, so that in that way it is very helpful. It helps the students to judge and revise their own work. So the students clearly know that this is one particular area where they are lacking, and they can definitely improve. And it informs the student, it clearly shows the student how their work will be evaluated, how their performance will be assessed, and what is expected from them. So once the student knows what is expected of them, so I think my friends, you will appreciate this thing, that the students then can really make efforts to perform in a better manner. So these are the advantages, these are the plus points of using rubric, useful for both the teacher as well as the learners. Just showing some of the rubrics for assessing the activities. So see the way, see here you see I have used um, certain dimensions. Research and gathering information, fulfills the team roles, shares work equality, listens to other team members. Maybe they are working in a team. So maybe they are working on a project work. So how do you assess if the students are working on a project work? So this is the rubric I have made. These are the four dimensions I have identified, that they are gathering in information. That is one area. Fulfilling the team role and the duty as a team member, they are performing their duty or not. So that is another thing. Share the work equality. So that is another criteria. And listens to other team members. That is the fourth dimension. And the scale. Can you see the scale? 5-point scale. Unsatisfactory. Number one is unsatisfactory. Number two is developing. Number three is satisfactory. Number four is good. Number five is exemplary. Now, how do you give marks in this thing? Okay, so maybe you can have another column, or you can tick also within the matrix. For example, in the first dimension, if the student is at satisfactory level, so in the last column you write number 3. Okay. In the dimension of fulfilling the team role and duties, the student is developing. So the marks are 2. You are giving 2 marks. Shares the work equality, shares the work equally. So there the performance is exemplary, and you are giving 5 marks. And in the last dimension, listening to other team members, the student performance is satisfactory, and therefore the student is getting 4 marks. So 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 3 and divided it by 4. So that means 3.33, something like that. And if you want to around it, you can say it 4. So that is how, my friends, the way you are evaluating by making use of rubric. Okay. And this is how you need to prepare the rubric. Keep in mind the elements of the rubric, and you can make efforts in preparing the rubric. This will give you really a lot of satisfaction that you have really, I mean, the teachers have full freedom as far as internal assessment is concerned. The teachers have full freedom as to how you want to assess your student. External marks, external paper, there's a separate, that is a separate thing. There's a written paper, there's a certain time allotted for that one, how it will be assessed. So that is different thing. But my friend, as far as internal assessment is concerned, you have full freedom. I don't think that there's any constraint from any management or from any institution as far as internal assessment is concerned. You can make use of any assessment tool. And even NBA, when your institutions, they are going in for NBA accreditation, the NBA team actually wants that you should have some innovative method of teaching learning, innovative method of assessment. And why not make use of this rubric? Okay, they will be, the team will be very happy if you are making use of rubric in assessing the student. And the most important thing is that it will really give you a lot of satisfaction that I'm assessing the student in a proper way. I'm assessing the student in an objective way, assessing the student in an effective way. So that is the beauty of this rubric. Okay, my friends, this is what I wanted to share with you. Think about it. Sharing the rubric with the students is vital and only fair if we expect them to do their best possible work. Okay. So if we really want that they should be able to perform at their topmost level, then, my friends, you assist the students by making use of rubric. And once the students have performed, you share that rubric with the student. You show them, okay, this is your rubric, this is where you stand, this is the area where you are very good, this is the area where you are exemplary. So assist the student by making use of rubric and share that rubric with share their performance with them. Okay. So that is very, very important. And if my friends, if we are doing this thing, then you can definitely, I mean, if we really expect them that they should perform their best, then rubric is a very vital part as far as assessment is concerned. So my friends, thank you very much.